Greetings and welcome everyone to Stopping the Violence, Stopping the Crime in America, not only in America, but we hope to work together collectively and make some changes in the world. Greetings and welcome. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not really sure, I haven't figured that part out yet. Reverend Oliver won't be with us today. He is out of the country. He had called and said if he could get on, he would get on, and if not, uh, he wanted to make sure that I was aware. So keep our leader in your prayers. That as he's conducting business, that God will lead and guide him, and that he will return home um, successful, that he will have succeeded in the business that he was taking care of. So, again, welcome to Stopping the Violence. For those of you who have not been on, I just want to share a little bit of information with you. We've been holding this webinar for 3 years now. It was a clarion call from Dr. Hatya Khan Moon, affectionately known as Holy Mother Han. So we thank her for her vision. We've had so many speakers on here from different disciplines. We've had mental health, we've had pastors, we've had law enforcement, we've had mental health. Did I say mental health? We've had school teachers, we've had grassroots, we've had uh, dads in school. So we've had a gambit, and so much information has been shared. And the ideal is for people not to continue to operate in silos, but begin to collaborate and share their information. If someone in New Jersey has a situation, they can contact somebody in Kansas and see what they're doing and how they're dealing with it. And we're also looking to discuss the root causes of some of the crimes that's going on now. We know that. From different areas. There's so many different things and so many different reasons that causes different things to take place. So we look at it as a whole, and then we look at it individually as well. But the goal is to come together, to collaborate, to assist where we can, when we can, and to be able to share information. We have a dynamic speaker for you today. He's Reverend Eugene Scott out of Wilmington, Delaware, a lifelong friend of mine for over 30 years, 40 years, maybe 40 years. We've been out of touch for a while, but the reuniting has just been miraculous and amazing. So we thank God for that. He's going to share with you his experience, his life experience, and what he's doing now. And I guarantee you there's going to be questions and there's going to be comment. So you know how we do. We have the speaker come on, he shares his expertise with us, and then anyone in the gallery has the opportunity to ask questions. So without further ado, I'm going to read his resume and see if I can uh, put in what he didn't. All right. All right. Reverend Eugene Scott, he is the director of men's ministry, Men of Faith, Inc. Their mission is this organization shall work to provide community-wide social, economic, and spiritual support to focus groups of youth and agencies who seek to improve and promote harmony. That's us, right? Harmony, nonviolence within and among their peers. And that's something that we talk about all the time. How can we help the young people? What is our role in the community? Reverend Eugene Scott is the director of Men in Faith, Inc., a nonprofit ministry founded in 2017. His ministry is dedicated to empowering men and supporting youth and the community through faith-based guidance and mentoring. He, he pursues his calling to the ministry and received his theological education from Andersonville Theological Seminary in Georgia. After receiving his associate's and bachelor's degree, he was ordained in 2007. Born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware, Reverend Scott graduated with a degree in culinary arts, and he has put that experience to good use because I have been able to eat from his menu and I was satisfied. He has worked in the food industry, security investigations, and Department of Corrections. After working for the state of Delaware for 30 years, he decided to retire and pursue his ministry. Reverend Scott has been married for 51 years. That's a lifetime. And has a beautiful wife. Shout out to Burma. Beautiful wife. And she's physically gorgeous and she's spiritually attuned. She's a beautiful person through and through. So it's not just her outside appearance, but it's her inside appearance as well. Has a beautiful daughter and several beautiful grandchildren. I can attest to him being a family man. Okay, so now where was I in the bio? Okay. He's been married for 51 years and is a devoted husband, father, and grandfather. In addition to his leadership of Men in Faith, Inc., he provides counseling service and continues to serve in the community with compassion and dedication. Under his direction, the organization received recognition from the Wilmington City Council, Attorney General's Office, and other various organizations for its impactful work with the community and local schools. Two things that he didn't put in here. One I was privy, well, both I was privy to because I've heard him sing as well. But he has an extensive career in singing. Maybe he'll share something with us at the end. I just kind of slid that in there. And he is also an ambassador of peace. So without further ado, please receive Reverend Eugene Scott. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything that you've read. First of all, I want to thank God for allowing me to be here with you guys. And I just pray that God continues to bless us, give us the courage, the knowledge, the understanding to continue the works that we're doing in the community. We started off Men of Faith and thinking that we wanted to try to reach youth. And we thought what better way is to go into the schools. And it's hard here in Wilmington, Delaware, for some of the schools to let an organization in because they feel that you're taking over and they don't want to, I guess, with the things. But we've had success. Didn't start that way because our first school that we went into, we understood that the school was about to close. And we went in to see if we could help with anything. The fire marshal was going to shut them down. So we got together with another group, and the school's basement was a one-way. It was so much junk down there. It was just a one-way in, one-way out. You couldn't maneuver around. So we got together and we got all the stuff. It took about a good week of working 5 hours a day with about 10 people. But we kept the school open, only to around to say that the principal didn't have no use for us after that. So we was happy that we was able to keep school open, but we pressed on to another school. We go into a school and sit down with the principal, vice principal, and the staff counselor to find out just what we could do to benefit the students, the schools, and the students' families. After putting the game plan together, we have our meetings and decided that the teachers needed just as much help as the students sometimes. So we suggested that we would give the teachers sum of money for their student projects that they would have in school. Some of the teachers had to go in their own pockets to provide supplies for projects. So we took that from them by leaving the sum of money in the office, and what they decided to do when they got to use the money, they would write a small grant to the office, and the office would issue out the monies that they would need. That took some weight off the teachers, and that seemed to work real good with them. We do it every year with our school. We wanted to find out what the students really need to come together, because we found that in going to the school, we had more females coming into the school in support, but no males. So we put a program together through the school. We was blessed to get donations. We donated to the school different items: bikes, toiletry, cleaning supplies, games, fishing rods. And the school set up a program that invited the parents in, specifying the men to come in. They had a game night, and the students had a chance, and the parents had a chance to win all kinds of good stuff. And it seemed to be successful. One young lady came back and said that her and her parents had so much fun playing the game that they got from the school. The other one said that the first time he ever went fishing with his dad, and his dad didn't catch the fish, but he did.
Wow.
But it wasn't keep. But it seemed to bring the men closer to the school. They got to know some of the teachers and talking to some of the teachers, and felt more relaxed in coming in. And it was just a big success all the way around. They seem to keep that program going. Anytime they have something at the school, they keep it lively so everyone can attend. Well, preferably men, to come in, because the women were that way and the men in the school. And you've rarely seen men come in and out of there as much as you would now. My pet peeve that the school had taken on was bullying. From grades K to 5, the classrooms, they talked about bullying. They also set up an auditorium, different programs on bullying. It was so funny because after the first auditorium meeting with the class of third graders, it was going back to their room, and I was in the office watching them go down the hallway. And of course, the bully in the class had to push someone in front of him. So we caught that and called him in and talked to him. And I was glad we did, because the school allowed me to get in touch with their parents. And I found out from that the child was doing what the father had instructed to do, in talking to the father, and he knew that the child was a bully. And his thing was, I want my man to get before he gets got. So the schooling started with him, and then worked with the child. And that turned out pretty good, that the father is involved with the school, and talking about bullying being the wrong thing to do. So the programs that was implemented seemed to be shape and doing pretty good. We also, at Christmas time, we do Christmas baskets. Now, we started out with one school doing 25 baskets, complete Christmas baskets. And now we have another school So we do. We're blessed to be able to do 50 baskets, complete Christmas baskets for the families um, that they seem to really appreciate, and it just helps the morale in school. I love the school that we're working with now because they greet the kids at the door. And one of the things that I love to work with, let's observe as they get off the bus. We have some get off the bus. They look like they have pretty rough. They're mad before they go into school. And we try to catch them at the door and let's talk about it and let's try to, because you don't want them to disrupt the class. Um, and that's been working pretty good. And sometimes all they need, they're big and bad, but all they need is a hug or somebody to listen to them. And that's been working. I'm having a problem with one school because I don't think they want us in there. I don't quit because they have some teachers in there that need to be taught that because two or three kids disrupting the class, you don't shut the whole class down and say, I'm not teaching. And I tried to tell the principal that that teacher or teachers should remove that student to the guidance counselor or someone so the rest of the kids can learn uh, or give that child a special project and make him in charge of a group. Uh, but they're not ready to receive that yet. So we're 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 on the doorstep talking with the principal daily about that. Another school year getting ready to start, and I'm going to make sure that we're there at the front door until they decide to either listen to us or put us out. Either one. I'm not going to quit because we had one incident with they allowed teachers allow us in our adopted school to come into the classrooms unannounced uh, to to see what the kids are learning. And uh, one math class they was putting in groups to solve a problem, and it was just one young lady that didn't want to participate. And of course, she was the bully in the class. So she was set aside because she didn't want to work with nobody in the class. So I asked the teacher if I could go over with her and talk to her. And she was a rough rider. She had her arms folded, and we had to work with that first. Unfold your arms and let's talk. Why don't you want to work with? I don't like them. Okay, but this is something that you have to learn. And if you're not in the group, then when you're called on, you have to explain how you get the answer. Do you know the situation? Do you know the problem? Can you solve it? No. Okay, I can't either. So we need to get in one of these groups so we can act like we know. It took about 10 minutes before she decided to stumble over to one of the group, and one of the other young ladies in the class started talking with her and saying, "What do you think about this, that, and it all interacted, and it worked out fine once again. So we've been having some good success, but we've been having some very very good teachers, counselors, anything that we come into the school, we have questions about the principal or the vice principal are ready to respond and act. We're working with an autism uh, school now, and we're trying to provide them with just as much as we can to help the parents out. So I have to see how that works. But like I said, all this is done with prayer, dues that the groups pay, one fundraiser a year. That's all we have is one fundraiser a year, and donations. And thus far, we've been really blessed with carrying out the mission. But as we say to each other when we get finished, one thing, the journey continues. At the end of the year, we challenge, well, during the school year, we challenge the students to better their grades, not the ones that are bright enough to keep up with the grades, but the ones that's kind of fallen down. So we challenge them and to get better grades in that graduation. We give them a sum of money. We pick 4 to 8 students, depending on uh, counselor. She helps us with the students. And at the end of the year, we give them a sum of money um, to congratulate them. Uh, so other than that, as I said before, the journey continues, and we just keep pressing on, and prayerfully, we um, every time we take on an assignment, we don't wonder how we're going to get through it, or uh, because we felt that He led it to us, so we're going to do it. We're going to do it, and we have enough supporters behind us to carry the job out. I have a person in the group. He's the coordinator, and he's everybody's right on man, and he does everything. He runs race. He works like he has three. Well, he has 3 or 4 jobs, but he takes time out anytime we need him to do whatever's needed, and we appreciate that in group, and we're a blessed group, and we want to make sure our thing is to make sure that we're right before we go into somebody else's house uh, to try to help with them. And basically, that's what we're about right now.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate the work that you're doing. And we often talk about and have questions about, schools or how to get into the schools, because our focus, not that we're counting the older ones out, but we do understand that, if you can, the earlier you can start working with them, the better results that you
Right.
have. But one thing that you said was key. Um, Not only do you work with the children, but given the opportunity, you work with the parents, because you
Yeah.
were able to witness that the little boy just might have been getting the behavior from his dad,
It
and
was.
that's how we get caught up in those cycles. They call them generational curses, but some of them are cycles. We talk about kids being the product of their environment. You know what I mean? So what he was witnessing, that's what he carries out. So
Exactly.
I thank you for that, and appreciate the fact that you guys are making yourselves available. Another conversation that we often have is the importance of the father being in the home or being involved in the relationship. We as mothers, what we do, we nurture, we coddle, and sometimes we don't have that. We just don't have we're not built to do the mom and the dad's job. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? We do what we do, especially as single mothers. They don't really play a dual role, but they're the all in all. So to
Right.
hear that, that the men are getting involved. um Now, did you say that the schools that you basically were adopting was kindergarten through 5, K through
Yes,
5?
the two that we have now, one's autism school, and the other one's regular school, but both of them are K-5.
Okay. So how did you get involved in the school system? Like what was your process? Did you just show up at a school, or did you go to a school
Well,
board,
we
or
we struck out. I could say the first school we kind of sort of struck out because the principal was only interested in um, keeping the doors open and getting that basement that looked like one of the Fred Sanford uh, basements. Um, he wanted that stuff, and it literally blood, sweat, and tears. It took us uh, 5 days, 5 hours, uh, nonstop. We stopped for about 10, 15 minutes a day, but it was the worst place I've ever been in.
Mm.
But he kind of sort of, well, in fact, he didn't have no time to even, he stuck his head in the door on the last day and said, thank you. But the vice principal really um, was talking with us and appreciated everything. But the principal didn't have no use for us after that. We went over to another school, uh, and everything was laid out. And we turned around and said, okay, who's our contact person? Um, the principal wanted to be the contact person. The counselor wanted to be the contact person. One of the teachers that was sitting in on the discussion wanted to be a contact person. We're sitting up there hearing them going back and forth. So we kind of, okay, see where this goes. Call us when you have a contact person that we can communicate with. And it turned out to be a no-show. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. So we didn't stop at that. We didn't, because like I said, I don't know where it stopped when person because I think it starts with the kids. The earlier, the better. So we knocked on another door, and outstanding principal wanted to listen, wanted to hear everything. Called the vice principal in and the counselor in, and we put a game plan together, and it's been running ever since.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
In
Okay, I'm
fact,
going.
she threatened us we better not leave the school.
And that's good. So now you've collaborated and you become a team, forming that tribe of understanding. Because if you're saying that, you're there for the students, but you understand that the teachers and the counselors, need your help and support too.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
win-win situation, because it bring the kids to have the understanding. Okay, this this unit is here to support us, but when I go to my counselor or my teacher, this unit and the teachers are on the same page,
Exactly.
so that give them clarity and
Right.
choices that they're making. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you do, and that's something that you have to have a passion for. I heard a guy say the other day, he said, if you want to know what your passion is, what would you do if you did not get paid for doing it? So when we look at things like that, God has a way of
Sure.
leading and guiding and directing. At the end of the day, you feel like, well, I really should got paid for this job. But during the process, it's the it's the
That
love,
first school, I thought like,
that clean out, right? That clean out. But even in that, that was something that was needed for the kids' safety. So it
yeah,
was,
yeah, really.
even that was a blessing, and that needed to be done. So what better way to get it done? Because this is what I'll tell you: while you guys were cleaning that basement out, I'm sure you were praying, and there was seeds being sowed that will come up that you know not of. So again, I thank you and I appreciate you. I'm gonna open up the gallery. Anyone have comment or questions? Anyone?
I
Okay,
just
Wayne.
have one quick comment. I was just reading, and I can't remember these days any specifics, but recently there was, I think, some kind of law passed that you could discipline people in the school now without all the unions and so forth coming down on you. In other words, it's gotten to the point with this wokeism and everything that you can't use any, you can't discipline anyone because it's racism, or you're being you're picking them out just to focus on them or whatever. But now I think in several states, they're bringing the fact that you can discipline people because some of these classrooms are out of control, and which argues that we need people like Reverend Scott to be coming into the classrooms to help this process, and that schools should open themselves to this and not take complete control. I don't think the schools should have complete control over your children. I think parents should be involved, and I think that people like Reverend Scott should also be involved. And I think a school should welcome that. I would think that they would want to welcome it. But now I think they are getting that kind of support. But I'm sorry, I don't know the details. But it was just a recent development in the states that they can do this. So that's a hopeful sign that they can take this fact that the schools shut the parents out a lot of times. They don't want the parents involved. They want to be in complete control. But now I think it's possible for parents to go in and demand that because they want their children to be in a safe place. They want their children to be taught things that they agree with. A lot of times, the religious aspect comes in, and the LGBTQT aspects come in, where they're teaching these things that the parents don't want them to teach them. So now we need more parental involvement, I think, and also I think a group like Reverend Scott's would be wonderful for a lot of these schools to help the children. They're there to help the children. They're not there to discipline them, but they are there to guide them away from these disruptive behaviors. So I applaud you, sir, and I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you very much. And one thing I said that we're blessed with, now we had to do, of course, a background check and stuff to be able to go into the schools, but the teachers and the principal have open door policy for us. You know, at one time you had to say when you come in and where you're going in the school. They give us an open door policy where we can go to any classroom. The teachers don't have a chance to fake anything. It's real. It's real. They don't see a person in there and then have to pretend like they're doing this, that, and the other. Everything's real. And I'm telling you, the school that we have blessed with so many good teachers.
Right. Yeah.
And they're getting the students to learn. And when they don't and want to be hard-headed, okay, you stay in for recess because we're going to get this done. They may say the rest of y'all can go here, so and so, and somebody might volunteer to stay and help the person. And I just love it because they're bringing teamwork to the class. That's why I want to reach out to this other school again, because they have trouble kids in their room. Let's work up some type of project for these troublemakers, so-called troublemakers.
Yeah.
They don't know what's on their mind, and give them a leadership role, and make them responsible for something, and let them see that you don't have to bully. This could be a team effort, and when you shine, everybody else in the class is going to shine too. So it's a lot of work to be done, but like I said, the journey continues. We're going to stay on it.
Mhm.
Wow, thank you so much, Jennifer, for your comments. And to think that, you know, when we were in school, home and school was a continuum. You know, it was a flow because it was that relationship with the teacher and with the principal and with the parents.
Yes.
And sometimes it's a matter of parents needing parenting classes. They doing things based off of the information that they received, and some of them haven't received very much information. So again, we thank you and applaud you for the work that you're doing. I love that you say the journey continues, because it lets me know that your concern is for the children and you want to keep them moving, you know, ahead. We keep saying the children are our future. Remember the song, the children are our future. And sometime when we look around, we cry out and say, Lord, help us if the children are our future. But the younger kids are, when you're getting involved, to help them see things from a different perspective. It gives them room for thought. I was reading a book the other day. It said you shouldn't tell a child what to think. You should teach them how to think. You know what I mean? And that's where your critical skills come in, and critical thinking. And by you being able to sit with that young lady that at one time didn't want to participate in the class, she had to really think. You gave her something to think about. I'm separated by myself, but if I stay over here separated by myself, how am I going to get the project done? You know what I mean? And it does take a team effort. When we're dealing with bullying, that's a key factor that you said. Give them something to do. Put them in a leadership position. You have to monitor that behavior, but putting them in that leadership role that need to be a leader kind of calms down. And now you realize that it takes more than you to get something done. So I appreciate the skills and admire how you implemented that, and able to, I think, really make a change. We're going to have to start bringing these young people to the table to help with some of the
Yes.
decision making,
Yep.
because we are where we are. We're here and we know how we got here. But those kids that are looking for something and looking for a different way, we talk about alternatives, looking for an alternative, allow a young person to come to the table to hear the plan and allow them to be a part of the plan. I think that's when it will begin to change, because they will feel as though they're a part of something and they're connected, and someone's not making the decision for them. Scott, as well as I know, the captain, the lieutenant, the shift commander would get in the room and make these decisions for the inmates. But we were the ones working with the inmates.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And until we said somebody got to stop going to bed at night having these dreams and bringing them back to us, we have to be at the table. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think for some of those young people, they need to be at the table. Is there anyone else that have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a few things I'd like to ask Reverend Scott.
Okay, Wayne.
When you go into the schools, are you feared? Are you respected as being an adult by the younger people? Do they give you a hard time? Do they question you? And when you go in, is your approach, is it counseling? Is it moral character building? Is it empathetic listening? Exactly what do you do once you get in the classroom and you have a voice to be able to do something there?
Good question. All of the above. Sometimes I laugh to myself and I say you have to kind of sort of play trickery with the young folks just to get their attention. I know my first time in the classroom, everyone was turning around to the back of the class where I was sitting. Who's that? Who is he? Who is he? Until I went up front and introduced myself and whatnot. And I must say, well received with the students. I don't take much of their time up if I'm in the room. For those that don't know me, I may introduce myself and let them know that I'm there just to check them out and check the teacher out and see what you're learning. And I joke with them, some of you guys can teach me, because this new stuff that you're learning, I don't know anything about. So I may come around so you can explain it to me. Just try to get ask the truth, but just try to get them comfortable with me, and it's been pretty good. I only had one teacher when I was in with he heard my name, but he couldn't remember it. So he said, "Hey, who are you?" And the counselor happened to be coming down the hall, and she said, "No, no, no, that's Reverend Scott." I said, "I don't mind. Let me talk to him. Let me address him." And we got along good after that. He invited me to his class. He told me where he was going and if I wanted to stop in. And I told him, "Sure, I'll stop in just to see how you are." He got a kick out of that, and I'll peep my head in before I left. And that's good. We've been having good relationships with the kids.
And those relations, go ahead, Wayne.
How large are the classes that you go into? How many students are there typically?
Anywhere from 25 to 32.
Wow. That's a nice size class.
It is. It is. But like I said, I can't sell this one school enough. The teacher, and I have to give it to the kids too. They coming in and they know that they're there to learn, and they give the teachers the respect to listen to them. And it's been going good. Like I said, I could pick any class into. I don't have to announce. And when I go in there, the students are really paying attention. One class I can remember was a young man in there wanted to talk. So the teacher wanted him to come up front to share what he was talking about, and that quieted him up. So he went back to desk and he didn't have nothing else to say. But it's been a ball. It's really, we've been blessed.
Wow. Wow. And to build those relationships based off of respect and trust and not fear, you know,
Right.
because when people operate out of fear, that's a whole different context. And somewhere in the back of their mind, they're on a defense, like they have to defend themselves. So
Hmm.
once you can calm that and put that to rest and develop, that trust and that open communication, respect. So I'm sure as you guys go in and present yourself in this respectful way, it gives the kids, especially the boys, it gives them someone that they can look up to, someone that's speaking to them in a way that might be firm, but yet you hear the empathy, you hear the concern, you hear those rhythmic patterns where there's no threat. So that's amazing. And there's a guy, VJ. He's part of a program. I think it's VJ. That's part of the program, Mad Dads, or something like that, or Dads in Schools. But they go into the schools and they basically do the same thing. They mentor. He talked about, when they first went into the school, how kids was just all over the place, and now they're there basically like as just hall monitors, but they've developed relationship with these kids. You know what I mean? Some kids might not have a male figure at home, but to see someone there consistently, because consistency is really important in a child's life. Well, as y'all know, I could talk forever, but I'm going to see who else is on here that want to chime in. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Arcadio, what
Yeah,
about you?
I,
Who's that?
hello? This is
Hello.
Brother Parker, James. Hello.
Hey, Brother Parker.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, wonderful.
Now,
Glad to hear.
you two guys have probably ran across each other's path. Reverend Scott, this is Reverend Parker. He's in Newcastle. You're in Wilmington, but I'm sure
Oh,
yeah. So I'm sure you guys have probably ran across each other.
we definitely need to run across each other.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. If you have it, yes.
We over at Rose Hill Community Center.
Yes, I know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a uh, outreach into the schools with McCullough and William Penn,
Okay.
where people who was getting suspended or in school suspension had an alternative to get into our program and spend that time in the program. And then when they were finished, they would go back to school. If they completed it, then the
Okay.
suspension wouldn't go on their record.
Okay.
That's good.
So we did a lot of things. They would go to school. We would send a van, pick them up from the school, bring them back to the center. They would go through their homework courses, and we have a break where they can go to the gym and recess. They would also go into the community where they would pick up trash and things of that nature,
Right.
and complete their day. And is very effective because we're also using some of the guys who maybe around 26 to 30-year-olds. We would use them to actually, because they're closer to them, as well as being out of school. So they was able to,
Right.
they know the language and everything else. So, they're able to communicate a whole lot better, really get into opening up of why they feel the way they feel. And, the
Okay.
younger guys could relate. But also the younger guys that was doing the program, they came to our meetings. They came to our civic meetings, community meetings. They went to
Yes.
school board meetings. They went to council meetings. So they was
That's good.
understanding why it was important for them to reach the younger people.
Yes.
So yes,
Yes.
I just like the way, you just don't deal with the student, but you also deal with the parents, and everybody's just able to relate, which really did a great job on that. So yes, I think you have to get over the fear first, the projected fear that you're gonna go in there and these kids are gonna fight and we got to take that all out because sometimes it's just for attention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Of course, they ain't grow up to where we grew up. Yeah, our principals could spank us. They could put us in that closet and spank us. Then we get sent. Then when we on our way home, our parents wasn't home, so the neighbors would take us into the house and they would spank us. And then we parents get home, then they spank us. So yeah, we had a
Right.
full day of spanking back in the day. So
Yeah.
Because you knew better. You knew
hey,
better. And
if you
when you
didn't,
left the house, you was representing mama, daddy, sibling, cousin, aunt. You were representing a name. So you knew better.
and we
Yes.
definitely knew better after that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think with that, I think some teachers probably took it too far and they had to take it out the hands, even though it wasn't everyone. But you get that bad one that messed it up for everybody, and
Yeah.
they have to shut it down. But then by shutting it down, now the kids can say whatever they want and do whatever they want, and they take it too far. But I think with the programs like you are doing, as well as what we're doing, we're cutting out that middle piece that can advocate for the teacher as well as advocate for the student. So great job, sir. And definitely we need to get information.
Yes, sir.
It brings in a balance. Now, Pastor Parker, do you still do the King's Table?
Oh yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah, well,
I'll make sure y'all get each other's information. So
okay.
Yeah, so y'all can continue to work together. I love it when a plan comes together. Okay, Arcadio, please unmute and share with us, please, my brother. He's talking, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I can't speak a lot about what our teams, we have teams of community intervention workers, community health workers that go into the schools of San Bernardino, that go into elementary schools, junior highs, high schools, and they actually roam the hallways as kind of like custodians, but they also build relationships with these kids. Right now, during the summer, we had a lunch and breakfast program where all of these kids that are being mentored by our workers came here to our resource center and were fed. They were given breakfast and lunch, and then they ate with their mentors and build those connections. So, like I said, I can't speak a lot about what they do because I'm not part of that team. They call it the SMART team, and they're the ones that go into the schools. I go into the youth detention centers, teach classes, and I also am a community intervention worker in the San Bernardino and take on clients that have just come out of prison, looking for work. So that's what I do. But what the Reverend is doing is commendable. He's doing very, very well. I see the a program that he's running where he's building relationship with these kids, and that's what they need. They need strong role models in their lives to help them, guide them, be there with them, even when some of them don't act too nice, too good. They're sent to detention rooms, and we're in there, or the teams are in there to speak to them and see what the root of the problems are. So, my team, I'm very, very proud of the team here that it's called the SMART team, and they go into the schools.
All right, thank you so much. And those kids that have been put in situations that they have to be in detention rooms or detention centers, they're looking for something as well. You know what I mean? And as long as people like you can go in and you can talk to them, you give them the opportunity to turn their life around and get back on track. Sometime a kid has been told that they're bad. So they begin to act bad because they've been told, that they were bad. But any person, even a person that's our age. Changes can be made where we can do better. Changes can be made where we don't have to continue down the rabbit hole because
Yes.
all other are other options. We just have to make a conscious decision that we want to do something different.
Yeah,
Um,
so
and
that's the one thing I do still do. Occasionally, they will call me in to go speak to a group of kids and share
Okay.
my testimony, my story of redemption and salvation, and talk about all the years I spent in prison. And it definitely has. I've had some kids come to me after the program and talked about, man, I don't want to be bad no more. I don't want to have to spend 40 years in prison the way you did. So.
Hmm.
I'm very happy for what I'm doing. I think I'm exactly where God wants me to be, and I continue to try to be of service every day.
yes,
Good.
amen. Thank you so much for what you do. You know, everybody has a part, everybody has a role to play, and no role is minute. No role is minute, and no role overshadows, the other. God says that He's not a respecter of a person, so it doesn't matter what situation or circumstances that you were born in, but you have an opportunity to make a difference, and regardless of what path you travel, again, hearing Arcadio say he did 40 years, but look at him now. You know what I mean? So we all have an opportunity to change if we want to change. Somebody could want it for you, somebody could be praying it for you, but if you don't receive the change yourself, then you'll always do what you've always done. Scott, you're in a blessed situation to be able to work with young minds, with young people. My daughter, she works in Head Start, and I always tell her, it's like you have a blank canvas, to pour into these children, to paint courage, to paint boldness, to paint love, to paint faith. You know what I mean? So to be able to speak into those children's lives, because we're all on this journey. Our path might not be the same, but the word reminds us that some plant, some water, and God gives the increase. So when we meet people, we don't know if
Yeah.
we're planting seeds or if we're watering seeds. But the,
Mhm.
the goal is to show love and to give of ourselves, and to give a person a different perspective of their situation if their situation is not the best situation. All right. Anybody else? We got about 7 minutes. Anyone else have something they want to share or question they want to ask? What about you, David Eaton? I see you.
Mhm.
Unmute yourself. He's just talking.
Yeah,
You
sorry I'm late coming on. And some of you I know me. I'm a professional musician working in New York for many years. And a number of years ago, I did a concert with the Harlem School of the Arts. And we did a concert at the Apollo Theater. And it was a fundraiser for the Harlem School of the Arts. And and I knew one of the directors of the school, Kelvin Bell, and they had a small but very competent orchestra, and we had the orchestra sit in with the professionals, right? And I'm just wondering, in your experiences, how music might have played a part in helping kids develop and find something really productive to do, whether it's jazz or hip hop or cloud, whatever. So I'm wondering if you've had any experience along those lines with regards to music as a way to help.
Is that for
great,
me?
great question,
It's a
David.
question. It's a question for anybody.
But he's a gospel singer.
Okay.
He's a gospel singer, so that's a great question.
Yeah. So
No, but
music can be a big influence for people. Sure.
Yes.
music is, and I think through some of the students, the teachers bought into it, and the students have them dancing and listening to all types of music and stuff. They have a good time over there. I can't say enough about the school that we have now as a partnership. They listen to the students also, and if it's music, if it's learning how to do some type of new dance, if it's even the principal, she comes out of the office and she wants to be involved with show me this, what was that, what's the name of this song, what's the name of that song, well, we're going to sing that here and there. So yes, music is brings them together also.
Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah.
Yeah, we know that music is universal. It's universal and it touches the soul.
That's right.
When all else fails, well, we know prayer never fails, but when we dealing with in this earthly realm to just get away from the noise, the background noise, there's nothing that can soothe the soul like music.
When I was a very young boy singing in my church choir, our choir teacher told us one time, he said, a half hour of singing to God is worth the same as an hour of praying to God. So I said, well, I'm going to sing more.
Amen. Amen. Because when you're singing, that takes us to a place of worship. You
Yep.
know, we're praying, we're having a conversation, or we might be praising God for something that we have received or thanking him or whatever. But when we get into the music, when we get into the worship aspect, we're praising him and worshiping him for what we have not received. You know what I mean? So that's a whole different level, another spiritual level of a place of elevation where, you know, that music just tones the atmosphere for how to move forward.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
Yeah, that's something that we did with if you could see my picture in
Okay.
there. We had got a band to come, and every Wednesday they would come at 6:00 and they would be with the kids
wow.
and show the kids on different instruments.
Hmm.
And this is in our community. They would come out and play, you know, and the kids was very, you know, once again, you know, kids are looking for something else to do. And if we
Yes.
don't give them anything to do, they're going to find something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we're tired of them putting guns in their hand, let's put a guitar in their hand.
That's right.
Hopefully
There we
their
go.
hand can hold something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just doing stuff in the community, you don't know how valuable you are in the community. And if you just go in, set up a table, and it's really that simple. You go up, set up a table, and the kids will stop and say, "Hey, what you doing?" And then you
That's
tell
right.
them, "Hey, I know how to make paper airplanes. I know how to draw. I know how to paint. I know how to," and they'll suddenly sit down with you and start working with you, and they'll say before they finish, they say, "You're going to be here next week."
That's
They're
right.
looking for something consistent to
Mhm.
be there, you know, or when the next time you're coming out. You know, we don't let the news uh, scare us about approaching kids, you
Yes.
know, and that's just probably one thing out of many millions of good things that happen with kids they're not showing. So, you know, it's up to you. It's your community. Do you want to save it or not? So yeah.
That's right. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you, David. Thank you, James. Okay, Scott, we're down to our last minute or so. You want to close us out? You can close us out with a song if you like, or you can just close us out however you like, sir. Thank you so much for being with us today. We greatly appreciate you.
You know, sometimes when a group gets together and uh, because fortunate, unfortunate, I'm the only one that's retired. Everybody else works. So when I say we have this line up, that line up, I know I'm the one that's going to be going there. So I'll start singing at the meeting. I'll go if I have to go by myself. I want to go if I have to go by myself. If my father don't go, my mother don't go, my sister don't go, my brother don't go, then I'll go if I have to go by myself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you
thank
so
you guys
much.
for allowing me to come in.
Yes,
you.
yes. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We're here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Easter daylight savings time now. But we're here 2 p.m. every Wednesday. With the link that you have, you can come on any Wednesday. Just push that join button. And thank you all that's in the gallery. Thank you so much for being here. It's greatly appreciated. Please continue to keep Reverend Oliver in prayer as he travels. And until we meet again, peace and love. I appreciate you. Take care of yourselves. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Amen.
God
Amen.
bless. God bless.
bless.
Thank you so much, Reverend Scott.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you.